Welcome to Executive Checkpoint, the live podcast for security professionals. Each week, we explore industry trends, challenges, and insights with leading experts. This is your insider access to the minds driving change in our industry.
Welcome to Executive Checkpoint. Today we're live at ISE Latin America and Caribbean, and today I'm with Brittany Galli.
Yes.
Brittany is former chair of the Women's...
The ASIS Global Women in Security Community.
That is
it's
a long
It's a mouthful.
title.
It's
Yes,
a mouthful.
Indeed. But so I'm talking to visionaries and leaders in the industry, and you came across with amazing ideas and incredible energy. So I want to bring you along for a good conversation and tell us a little bit first about you, where you started your career in security, and how you arrived to be a CEO of your own organization.
Well, thank you, Tino. And you did an amazing job speaking, by the way.
Thank you.
Excellent topics in AI, but also the security industry, which you and I had a good conversation the other night at the pub, which was that, you know, the adoption of AI in this industry is a need and a necessity versus a want to and think about it later tactic. And that was kind of the interesting part I thought about your speaking engagement was, you know, how are they going to do it, right? And of course, I think we're best friends when we agree on the governance piece of it, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
And that's the hardest hurdle. But no, so I actually started in security industry about 10 years ago. And 3 years ago, I was the chair for the Globe for Women in Security, as we mentioned, and did consulting after that, right? So one of the hot topics, I'll say, from my CIO and CSO perspective is that, or at least what I'm seeing in the AI space, is that it's really the buy it, build it, or get run over, right? It's
Right.
one of those three options. We don't have an option now to ignore it. And as you can see, especially like conferences like this, there is no topic that's off limits with AI. It's how am I going to implement it? Who's going to implement it for me? And who am I going to buy it from, right? Because again, we're not AI experts. We're security people. So that mantra has to change of, I can't build this myself.
But you know what? We talked about, so what's the shortcut, right? The shortcut
Yeah.
is find experts.
Yes.
Via manufacturing, they're going to have to bring their own experts and maybe their own technology,
Right.
as well as consultants and are becoming experts, and that can guide you along on that process, right?
Absolutely.
So, what's your experience now when you talk to the C-level groups and you're explaining that they need to evolve? How do you get around the risk of new technology?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So in, I'll say, IT and security world, your biggest hurdle is always your IT risk assessments. Always, right?
Right.
Well, now we know with the AI piece that they've added their own governance inside of that. The companies to watch out for are the ones that haven't thought about that yet. Those are the red flag companies, right?
Right.
The other thing I'm seeing from the C-suite is we're doing a better job of evaluating what our vendors are doing with AI. Meaning, I have 350 technology vendors or security vendors. Okay, I've reached out to each one of them
Right.
before, forget about when the contract renewal is. I've reached out to each one of my vendors and said, hey, what are you doing with AI? I need to know this for our compliance and regulatory things.
Absolutely.
And what are your guardrails, right? What's the governance model your company has put in place? And then that gets filed away or put in a folder for audit or whoever it is. But those pieces, you're seeing a very clear divide of who's paying attention and who's not.
Right. And I think that we said the word governance, but it's not just that they have a concept
Yeah.
of what they want to do, is that gets passed along to your partners, your consultants, your
Correct.
specifiers, and carries on. You have an interesting view because you have a global relationship, right? That's the reason we're here. And by the way, Brittany's a great connector. I probably met half of the people here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. So your take on the future of security and where we are, especially being a leader for women in an industry that used to be
Yes.
LATAM and Caribbean.
Yes.
Where do you see the newcomers, men, women, young men and women coming in?
So one of the coolest things that I did last year, actually right before this conference, was I spoke on women in security and AI and where the path was headed. And what I did was I went out and did a survey of like 60 CSOs, and I said, where are you spending money in AI? And from that survey,
Right.
what they attributed their spending to was really fascinating. Like 67% of it was attributed to threat. There was only 3 to 5% was attributed to training and education in AI. So what we're seeing is they're solving lots of reactive problems with AI,
Very common in the industry,
which is
right?
very common, right? It's a security thing. It's the way IT works too, right? And then on top of that, okay, well, it's great we're doing that, but where's everything else fall, right? And so what I'd like to see in the women in security world, especially, and the next gen or the young professionals,
Right.
is for them to say, go to their managers, approach their managers and say, I'm interested in AI. How do I learn more, or how can we learn more about that as a group or a team? That is going to drive
Yes.
success of AI in security.
Right.
I think that the top-down approach, they have so much to worry about that they're not going to push and pull people into AI, right? From the security space. So we as, again, women in security, minorities, whatever it is, need to actually pull ourselves up and approach the topic and say, I want to learn more, Mr. Manager, how do I learn more?
Right. You see, it's beautiful. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Ask for it, right? Especially
Don't wait.
You're new in the industry. Because the honest truth is, we have this, in general, we like to do things that are proven and tested, right?
Yes.
And I think that having newcomers lead that and take ownership of it
Yes.
is going to be the best solution.
Exactly, and that's my advice is take ownership of your future roadmap, right?
I love that.
AI is the easiest way to gain unbeatable knowledge between you and your colleagues or you and other teams, right? It's a brand new
Especially
topic.
with the age gap. Let's face it.
Especially with the age gap, right?
Yeah.
And Google actually has one of the best AI certificate programs I've seen out there. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
It's a free.
It's free.
Yes.
It's completely free.
Right.
And in all the languages that anybody needs. And it's one of the best, I'll say most comprehensive, because obviously they have everything to do with AI internally, right? I mean, they have a complete division set up for it.
Right.
So that's why I said is if anybody's ever
good
wondering,
paying job.
it's exactly start there, because that on your resume is going to do leagues, especially 5 years from now.
Fantastic. Well, I was going to ask you what advice you give someone
There's
coming
my
in
advice.
that came
That's
natural
it.
to you. So, what's next for you? What are you going next? What projects do you have coming up?
Yeah, so we have, it's a bunch of IT security, cyber stuff. And then there's also, like I said, GSX is coming up in September.
We'll see you guys there.
We're doing a massive Women in Security Masquerade Ball in New Orleans, thanks to all the contributors from the industry who want to see it be a success. And we're also giving away 5 $2,000 Women in Security scholarships for certifications. The reason is because why not? We need more women in the boardroom, in the security space, and this is one way to get them there. Get your certification and climb the ladder.
Yeah, and join an organization, right? That's the
Join,
reason
network.
we are here, and I think this connection and synergy only happens when you meet great people.
Absolutely. You said it.
Great, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You're a pleasure to be around.
You too.
Folks, thanks so much for joining us, and you'll get to see more of visionary and leaders in this magnet. Welcome to Executive Checkpoint. I'm on site today at a magnificent event. It's called ASIS LATAM. And I'm today with Lee. Lee, it's been a pleasure meeting you. How do you pronounce your last name?
Oughton.
Oughton,
Yeah.
Okay. Lee has a tremendous, great story. He was one of the speakers for the event. And we got connected, I think like 6 months ago on
Correct,
LinkedIn. And it was great to meet him in person and also get to know his great story. But Lee, tell us a little bit about your background, what you're currently doing, where are you located, which makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're originally from England, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
so thank you so much for asking. Originally from the UK, moved here in June of 2016. So I now live in Querétaro. I was previously in Mexico City. I'm ex-military. Now I'm the Vice President of LATAM for a fantastic US-based company called Concentric. And we've recently just incorporated here in Mexico.
Nice.
And we're looking at growth opportunities in Mexico and all throughout Latin America.
great. And what brings you to ASIS aside from being a member and speaking?
Well, I mean, fantastic question. So I'm all about community. And I actually do sit on the ASIS Foundation fundraising and marketing committee. So the foundation is a standalone entity that is also aligned with all of the basic principles of what the ASIS International HQ are trying to do. So what we're trying to do is complement that and always focus on the community by giving out grants, helping, let's say people less fortunate than us, security research. And what I really love and why I'm really here is the people. Because I love the people and I always want to give back to the community.
And one of the things that I really enjoy about your presentation, it was a great keynote, is that, sometimes in security we forgot that we help people primarily, and taking care of ourselves and each other is a tremendous thing, not just who we protect, but also as teams and minorities. So tell us a little bit about your take on why that presentation, touched so many people, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, great question. So I always focus on the human side of security. It's a passion for me. I love humans, I love people. I always want to meet new people. That's why we connected and we'll spend more time personally together. One thing that I didn't share with the audience is that I'm also an author too. So I'm an author of a book called The Kindness Games. So I'm all about kindness, grace, gratitude, and always trying to lift others up. My presentation yesterday was built around human-centric leadership, building up trust, giving safe spaces to your team so that they can flourish, and recognizing that you're only just a cog in the wheel. We may have these fancy titles, but that doesn't mean that we're more important than our teammates. So what I love to do is always give my teammates the floor, always give them the opportunity to grow, always give them the opportunity to fail, because that's where the growth is. So my secret sauce is always focusing on the humans, because I think that that's the most important factor.
You make a comment that I thought was very valuable. Stephen, what's his name? Stephen Covey's son, R.K. Covey, he wrote a book talking about the speed of trust, right? And you were talking about the value of trust.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there's a really good correlation between business, trust, and relationships. Tell us a little bit about that take.
Yeah, for me, trust is everything. And at the end of the day, one thing that I say, if you lose trust, then you're finished.
So true. In this industry, absolutely.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, especially in the security industry, I would say the biggest pillar and foundation is built around trust. Relationships is everything to me. So my reputation, I would say, leads in front of me. Most people know who I am because of the philosophy and the principles and the ethics that I apply, and the way that I give grace to others. So I mean, for me, trust is paramount. It's so important. But I also say it's a bit like respect. It has to be earned, right? It's a mutual kind of give and take, a process where you need to grow together. So I always focus on trust. I always focus on respect, kindness, caring for others. A lot of people think that that's very soft and fluffy. Well, I'm an ex-military guy, but at the end of the day, I've realized the power in leaning into those human relationships.
And to prove a point, yes, it sounds all of that, but I've witnessed how many people approach you even before the presentation, just because you'll find them smiling all the time, which is just a given, I think. But so what's next? What are you going to be next? What are you doing? Where can people find the book?
Well, great question. So what's next? More of this, more human connection, building my network. As people always say, your network is your net worth.
Absolutely.
My main focus probably over the next few years is to lift others up, is to give back to them. What's next and what's on the horizon is I'm going to be going to ASIS International Global Security Exchange, GSX. in New Orleans. I'm going to be there. I'm also organizing a run and a walk, which is a 5K fun run, to help raise money for the foundation, again, so that we can give back to the community and continue to lift others up. So if anybody wants to sign up for that race, there's only 3 more spots left. So you've got to be quick because we've had to cap it at 100. About the book, you can find the Kindness Games on Amazon or also at Barnes & Noble online. So that's it from me.
Great. Words of wisdom. There's a lot of our audience that are young and upcoming. They're looking to do, you know, become a fast leader in this industry. What's your advice to those folks?
My advice, and I always say this, is network, network, network. It's easy for me to say now because I have built a reputation. People know me, and as you said, they approach me. But what I try to do to teach to my young teammates is just reach your hand out. And I also teach people not to go up to and say, hey, who are you? What do you do? You know, for me, it's important to focus on the personal relationships. You know, and as you now know, so I introduce myself as Lee, and I create environments for people to thrive. I'm not Lee, the Vice President of Concentric, even though that's what it says on my label. So the biggest piece of advice is try and get to know as many people as you can.
You will be amazed how many people like Lee that have many years of experience will extend the hand and lift you up, as you explained. Lee, great pleasure.
Appreciate you,
Thanks
my
so
friend.
much.
No, I've loved
We'll
it.
see you in the next Executive Checkpoint. We'll continue to talk to visionaries and leaders at ASIS Latin American and Caribbean. Thanks.
Thank you.